Is it okay to take advantage of others? Yes, no, depending on the circumstances. What if the person is rich enough? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below or even share your experience on this matter. Like many things in the world, this question can sound very subjective. However, the Bible has a very objective and solid view on this matter, and we will look at it in 3 layers. The first layer is taken from Nehemiah chapter 5, when Nehemiah returned to the land of Israel and he saw the people crying out for help. Some of them who had large families and many children and became so poor that they couldn't feed themselves. Some of them even had to sell off their land and home for food, and many had to borrow money with high interest from the wealthy nobles just to pay taxes to the king. These people later lose their children because they were unable to settle their loans. Nehemiah was greatly angered by what he has seen and heard, and decided to deal with the people earnestly and forthrightly by revealing the true problem, that is lack of compassion for the needy as well, usury, which means charging interest for borrowed money. When you think about it, this is very common in our society today. In fact, usury is an important foundation of our world's economy today. According to the Old Testament, the people of Israel were only allowed to impose interest towards foreigners. However, they were not allowed to do so to the poor and to their fellow Israelites. That is why Nehemiah was so upset by this, for they have ignored the law of God and taken advantage of the poor. Nehemiah confronted and rebuked the nobles with great authority, and they listened. Surprisingly, they are willing to return to the people for what they have wrongly taken from them. So in summary, the first layer, and to answer the first question, is it okay to take advantage of others, is very clearly say no. We ought to be careful in dealing with other people lest we gain riches at their expense. Be aware of the work we do so that we may present ourselves as a worthy testimony of Jesus. The second layer is taken from Matthew chapter 5 verse 42, and here Jesus said that give to the one who begs from you and do not refuse the one who would borrow from you. Now we are called to be compassionate towards others and do nothing out of selfish ambition. Rather, in humility, we ought to value others above ourselves, not looking to our own interests but to the interests of others. This leads to the idea we are called to serve others more than ourselves. And through the life of Jesus, we have the perfect example, for he came to serve, not to be served. And the apostle carried this heart of compassion when they traveled from city to city, preaching the gospel and serving the people. And for the third layer, we go back to Nehemiah chapter 5 verse 10, where Nehemiah said, I and my brothers and my men are also lending the people money and grain, but let us stop charging interest. Not only did Nehemiah preach against it, the wickedness of the people, he practiced what he preached. Nehemiah did not take his identity and position for granted, but he went down to the people and gave them what they needed. And I believe he did not expect anything back. Nehemiah placed himself on a higher moral ground, keeping himself accountable to his word. It is easy to confront others without looking at ourselves. It is especially easy to do so behind a screen, even as Christians. That's why people often say that Christians are quite judgmental. The Bible always calls us to examine ourselves first. Whatever we say of other people, we must first say to ourselves, so that we are careful to live out what we profess to be right and true. To end, I will leave you with these 2 questions. Do we constantly examine our lives so that we are not overcome with greed? And are we able to honestly or even bluntly confront those who are close to us who have fallen into sin of greed? So once again, drop your thoughts and testimony down at the comment section below, and we will see you at the next episode.